Good morning, fellow tracklers. Welcome to the diaspora edition of the Taco Show. Karibuni sana. We are about to begin having a very interesting discussion today. I hope you are up and ready for our engagement today. But as usual, before we begin the show, lazima tuende mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu turudishe shukrani, and then we continue the show. So let us have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this beautiful morning and night for some of us and daytime for others. As we are in different areas of the world, we pray for your guidance in this discussion today, matters pertaining to our nation, and for us who are outside the country. Help us in our discussion, guide us so that we can benefit others and educate all of us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, gentlemen, as we wait for others to join us, karibuni sana. I know it's been a week with full of events. Tulizika grandmother huko UK. Tumeenda UN and so many other things. So for me, I'm just going to start in a little bit unique way today. I just want to mention something that I've seen on the news lately. Unfortunately, as Kenyans, we have been put on the news on the blast, so to speak, because of some unscrupulous people. Just to go to say, there's nothing for free in this world, and especially here in the US. We have been on the news because of some people who decided to take COVID money and forge some documents. They went to Kenya, bought properties and all that. Now they are under investigation. There are about 47 suspects. They are under investigation. I think we had mentioned this before in this show. Just be aware. If some of those people are your friends or your relatives and they gave you money, just be prepared. The US government will investigate you, and if you cannot verify where your money is coming from or where your property, how you got it, it will be taken away. So it's a big lesson to all of us, and especially please be careful. There's no shortcut, and it's an embarrassment to us as Kenyans that we are known people who work very hard for our money, and now people are trying to be cheeky and smart. You cannot outsmart a system. You cannot outsmart the government. You may think you did, but they are going to catch up with you. And when they catch up with you, it's never going to be a good story. So that's, so to speak, my pet peeve for today, but service or general public information. People are going to be in serious trouble. There's a lot of people who are going to go to jail, and a lot of people who are going to cry, and many people in Kenya who are going to cry because they're going to lose a lot of their properties, even some they acquired in their own ways, just because you are associated with somebody who stole money, public funds for US government. That is never a good place to be. So, gentlemen, let me come to you. What's your take for the week? Anything you want to get off your chest? Keja, let me start with you.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard about that, the story about the billionaires, the American COVID billionaires.
Yeah.
Kumbe huku MP alikuwa naiba, kumbe wengine pia huku wanakusanya yao. Yeah, so it is a perspective to say not only Kenya has those weaknesses.
Yeah.
You cannot go thinking it's only Kenya who has those weaknesses, and it's not only Kenyans who were involved in that scam.
Yeah.
Very many people. But the good thing is now America is tracking them down slowly by slowly. Wanapatikana. Okay, if you saw somebody during COVID has bought a new Lamborghini, has bought a new Mercedes,
they're on the list.
Kando now kidogo.
Yeah.
If they are not nurses or doctors, then that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Anyway, apart from me, the big one is the MPs who've just been sworn in, the parliamentaries and the senators and the MPs who even hata wajaketi kwa kiti. Even they have not warmed their chairs yet, they're already looking for salary or increase.
Yes.
They're already looking for increase. Knowing very well, the same people are the ones who are saying Kenya's Kenya is in what? Kenya's economy is in a what? Is in a
ICU.
Is in ICU.
Yes.
Are the same ones looking for salary increase? Like, seriously, what are we doing? What are we doing? What did Kenyans do wrong to vote this time? You know? Yeah, this is sad, and especially if you know almost half those people are not incumbents. Sasa tunafikiri tumefagia watu wabaya, kumbe wale tumeingiza tena ni wanyama tu. Hii Kenya yetu hii sijui tutafanyaje. I don't know what we'll do. Anyway, those are my intakes. I have a few more. Let me give a chance to the rest.
All right. Bwana Ambassador, naonekana huko kwa simu kidogo. I can go to Kip and then come back to you. Okay. All right, Kip.
Yes. Good morning.
Bwana Kip, kwanza mimi wacha nikuweke. I saw your post the other day and I was laughing a little bit, but I said, you know what? This is what it means to hold our government and our leaders accountable. When they are doing something wrong, we need to point it out. When they're doing something right, it doesn't matter who they are. We need to praise them and give them accolades. So let me come to you. What is your take for the week, and what have you seen that you need to bring out, highlight to the people?
Yeah, I think I'm glad actually reminded me of what I did over the week. And a lot of people, for some reason, think that if you criticize anyone in government, you're anti-government. I think that notion needs to be debunked. What it means when you criticize government, support government when they ought to be supported, criticize them when there is a need to. Yeah. In that occasion, there was a need to criticize the words, the wording, and utterances of the vice president or deputy president, as they call it now. Yes. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, as they call him, Rigiji. He's living up to his name, and you know, now the problem with what he's talking about, he's still in campaign mode. He needs to be reminded that he's government now, and that he's in government and he's the second in command. Number two, he needs to stop overlooking. This government came in on the notion that they are pro-hustlers, pro-people, right? And I told someone, look, it looks like these guys are talking too much about freedom of that, freedom of that. If you have nothing to hide, you shouldn't be talking too much about something. This notion of freedom has come to Kenya. I think we need to rethink. It's too early to say, but if Rigiji is not called to order, then the so-called freedom is coming actually left. Rigiji attacking, continued attacks on, you know, the people from Kiamburo, as they call him. So that's the DCI, criminal investigations. The KRA, you know, even his speeches are always on KRA. See, I mean, you can actually run the speeches. It's either KRA, DCI, what's the other one? Everyone knows. So I think an ATBU, these are government organizations. Yes, are there any rogue officers everywhere? Yes, even United States, even in Australia, there are bad cops everywhere. But you cannot just generalize and say, hey, those junior officers should stay away from our offices. Rigiji, we have news for you. They are government employees. They have a job to do. You have a job to do. Stay on your lane and let people do their job. Just because you're deputy president doesn't mean your word is final and that we should just trash, you know, how the work of government is done just so that you can be happy. Or, you know, whatever he's saying might be popular to his base, but it's not popular to everyone around here. We know the work of the DCI. It's to investigate any crime anywhere in every office, including office of deputy president and office of president or any other office in the Republic of Kenya. So Rigiji should be reminded to tame his words and come slow, as they call it in Kenya.
Akuje kwa kipole.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, on Alfred. Naonekana Alfred amefreeze kidogo.
Nipo bwana.
Okay, sawa. Yeah.
Habari za leo?
Salama sana.
Hey.
Haya, tupe maoni yako leo. What have you seen for the week? Let's highlight.
First of all, what Kipchumba didn't tell you is uko tuko holiday leo, though niko job.
Okay.
It is a national day for mourning the Queen.
Oh, okay.
And on Monday we will be celebrating our birthday, the holiday here.
Okay.
So kesho tu ndio tuko job.
Okay.
Anyhow, of course we celebrated our life. We saw what system can do in countries like UK over the week. We saw, nearly the entire world was there. People were watching. Were many, many of the leaders attended. Apart from many other aspects that we might say the Queen never achieved in life, I think she did to the level best for their people. We cannot always just have to call shots based on our understanding, but it seems that she was popular in her country. She did the right thing for her people and on their culture and everything.
Yeah.
Another thing is that yesterday we saw the president of Kenya, Dr. William Ruto, did a very good presentation. I would want to commend the people who did the speech. They did a very good speech for him, and it was well presented. Apart from some small hitches in regards to using the technology, but it was well presented, well done. For a start, it was a good one, to be sincere. Again, like KJ said, MPs hata hawajui anaenda kukaa site gani, wanataka 1 million already, na serikali ni ya hasla bwana. Serikali ni ya hasla. Na hata hajafikiria hata bwana unga raia nini, jamaa ametaka tayari aongezewe pesa. Number 2, we are running in an economy whereby even the president himself said we have issues with what we have in. Sasa jamaa wanataka kujiongezea pesa yenye iko wapi? Watatoa wapi? Have they actually come up with a plan? Like the president said, the government have a plan. As these MPs got a plan on how we're going to create money, or we can create a good economy whereby we can even manage to pay them. Unfortunately, as a raia, tunasema kama wewe ni mnyonge kweli. See, they are bringing back the issue of CSS. I saw the president requesting for participation for CSS. For me, it should be a no, man. We have 416 MPs. These MPs want 1 million. Also, we want to come to add on top of the governors. We have the CECs, we have the CASs. Kwani tutakuwa tunalipa tu mishahara watu bwana, hatufanyi development. And again, before we finish this show, let's touch on the issue what the president mentioned. The issue on environment. We cannot be only talking about environment, and we are not talking about how are we going to achieve the issue on the environment and the global warming. If they will be able to sort out the issue of Mao during his term, that will be my happiness. People are out in the cold. The Mao thing has not been actually actualized on what are the fates of these people, what is the fate of the forest itself. Yet we are in an international conference talking about issues relating to the environment. Yet ground. So I will tell you, in Australia, they are phasing out a lot of these diesel cars. They are bringing in a lot of electric cars. That is towards the achievement of the global warming thing and the issue on the environment. Huku watu wanasema na kutenda. Another issue is that we cannot just be talking things and not actualize it. Do the little that you can and actualize it. Hata pale nyumbani mwananchi peke yake. What is your stake? What are you doing to help the government and to help the president and to help the world achieve this issue on the global warming thing? So let us have an engagement on that as well before we finish this, because we don't want to be mentioning things that we will not be able to achieve at the end of the day. Asante chama.
Thank you so much, Bwana Alfred. All right, Bwana Sang, nakuona umefika hapa, karibu sana. I see a new guy, I've never seen him before, but welcome, Bwana Ruto. Sang, and I see my dear friend, karibu sana. Frida, I'll come to you. Let me start with Sang. Bwana Sang. Oh, sorry, Kibleting. I'm sorry. Why am I saying Sang? Pole sana.
Okay, I thought Sang is around, so we were waiting for Sang to speak.
Pole. I realized when you didn't say anything, oh no, I used the wrong name. Okay, welcome, Bwana.
Yeah, of course. I was waiting for Sang to speak, but it is okay.
Yes.
First of all, I want to say it is a good opportunity, of course, to meet once again. It is afternoon here, and we enjoy our afternoon breeze. Of course, we are starting a new season in terms of weather here in Korea. Just a few more things to mention that they came throughout the week. One is the swearing in of the county officers, of course, the MCS, which was done finally by yesterday. It was summarized. And most of the speakers that came in from all over the counties, of course, from the diverse regions, in terms of diverse status as well, to join the county assembly, ili waweze deliberate and they become the bosses of the assemblies. One of the things ambayo kwamba ilinifanya pia na ikanikera this week is the MPs, the issue of raising us. The rest have reiterated. In fact, we had the address by CPK, I think so.
Yes.
And everybody else understand that the chairman said kwamba the bank and our coffers is empty, as reiterated by our deputy president, kwamba the coffers are empty.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the MPs are strategizing on how to make another income so that they can increase their own, because they should have a lay down strategy to say, sisi sasa tumeamua to collect this amount of taxes, so that this is the way to go, and where we are getting the resources, so that we decide just to increase our own salaries.
Yeah.
In fact, they have not deliberated on any motion or any bill that could be tabled in parliament, and they should not sit pretty to have even the this month's salary, because they have done nothing for us in terms of representing us completely and in a good way. Although we understand that it was an issue of transition, man, as well in terms of leadership, but that was not really what we could have to expect at this time, because these are people who have reached there, and we expect a lot in terms of that should not be the first in the list of priorities that they are bringing us, but they want to increase their salaries. Last night, this morning, of course, I woke up to watch the presidential address from the UN. I think it was a good thing to say. I must congratulate and pass kwamba this is our president we have for now. We must accept and appreciate what he does, despite the fact that we have small inches here and there. For a start, it is a good way to go. And having a president who can focus and, of course, can have some few more global issues to be addressed, even in the global manner. Because these are the issues that are being addressed all over the world in terms of global, the issue of the environment. And it is becoming not only a global issue, but a battle. In fact, I think he only missed a word that is scholars are coining now all over the world, that it is a polycrisis thing. Everywhere we have crisis in economics, but on environmental basis. So economics of environment as well is inching, and even in fact it's fighting hard than how it is. Otherwise, I expect to listen from other people. Thank you so much. I'm very grateful.
All right, thank you, Bwana Kibleting. Karibu sana. Thank you for your sentiments. My dear friend, Frida, how are you?
I was fiddling with my mic.
I could see that in Bali.
Yeah, hello everyone. And yeah, good week I think in the past. But I was just typing in because I didn't think I'd get a chance because I need to step out. Okay. Today I'm coming to you from Hargeisa in Somaliland.
Oh.
And Kipchumba has said something which I also do agree, and I was typing in the chat that, well, our DP now needs to settle down, you know. We, the people who are also supporting that ticket, I think sometimes you get tired of hearing it, no matter how much you're traumatized, because I think it was clear, it's true that the criminal justice system was used to manage dissenting voices. But you know, once you ascend into that position, you need to find a way to quieten, you know, those demons that you might have gone through and what you might have experienced, because experience ni yako. Sisi labda tupo hapo kujua, lakini sasa he is the deputy president. He needs to stop the rhetoric and the divisiveness and everything and just focus on governing, because that is what we need. We need to hear policy. We need to hear what they are planning. Of course, we know that it's early, and sometimes, of course, there can be missteps here and there. Even for us, when you assume a new job, you need time to adjust and to get things done. So yeah, I'm looking forward really to the time when we'll begin to hear less of the past and more of forward-looking guidance and policy. I think for me, the unsettling thing for the week, and which I wasn't really able to follow completely, was what was on the news about the fact that we are broke. Kenya is broke. And how much money was spent by State House in supporting Uhuru's project.
Yeah,
I found that really, really unsettling. And for what gain, and why was it so important to sink the economy so that Azimio can take power? Ninini, for me, that's the question mark. Like why? Because I think even during his period, he didn't use so much money. So why was it necessary to do so? And then I got thinking, so how long is it going to take us to get out of this hole economically? If this is really true, the state of our economy is like completely rugged, you know, it's like we are completely in the red. And yeah, it's really unsettling. I don't know how to put it in words. And I was wondering, like, can people be prosecuted actually for doing that? Is it possible for the state capture task force that Kenya Kwanza is forming to look into that? And even if maybe we don't recover, we at least know
fuck you, a motherfucker.
To spearhead that. Yes, someone is speaking.
Yeah, I don't know that person.
It's someone called Meme. Someone with the name Meme. Yeah, so
Meme, yeah.
It's really something to look into and to reflect on, like, yeah, how did that happen? So I will drop and I'll try to join in later on. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Frida. It's always nice to have you on this show. Thank you for your contributions. We appreciate you. And stay safe in Somalia. I hope you continue doing what you're doing and continue being
No, I am in Somaliland, actually.
Yes.
The semi-autonomous region of Somalia.
Oh, okay. So Somaliland. Okay, I have to remember the difference between the two. All right. But either way, we say, when you say stay safe, it's a common phrase for us wherever you're going, someone will say stay safe, because you never know what you're going to encounter there. Come back home safe. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. I see another new guest here.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
All right. So my guys at studio, can you go ahead and remove this person from the group, please? All right, hope she doesn't join again, or whoever it is. Bwana George, karibu sana. You're able to talk with us, or we'll give you time? All right, while we are waiting for George to get ready, Bwana Cornelius, how are you? Okay. All right. So guys, okay. So let me go back to my other panelists, and maybe these guys will get a chance to speak. So guys, I have a question. What do you think will be the, okay, let me phrase it in a different way. What are your top priorities that you would like to see both the national government address and also the county governments? And they can be either the same or they can be different, but just a question to you guys. Because essentially that's what we are here to do, is how can we get to hold our leaders accountable and actually give them, so to speak, a measurable yardstick that if you do ABC, then we'll consider you as being successful. If you don't accomplish that, then you're not successful, and then we do have that right to continue. Okay, Frida says from line CBC, we do have a right to criticize you and challenge you on what you're doing. Okay. All right. Okay, Bwana Cornelius, if you're ready, I can give you a chance to say something then. Okay. All right. Bwana Keja, let me start with you. Give me at least top 3 priorities. Okay, go ahead, Kip.
Yeah, I think let me go ahead and answer this. I think for myself.
What is your question again? Ati? Top 3 priorities?
Yeah, you have a delay. Let me give Kip a chance. Okay, go ahead.
Build the economy.
Okay.
Education. And this government should not get a pay raise. Wajinyime hiyo for the next 5 years. That will be great. That will be the first sign that they are trying to do something. Not go and look for more money from a broke government. It's like you're trying to you're trying to milk a cow that is not even milkable anymore. and then what happens next? Yeah. So to me, number 1 is MPs just have to go and hit the ground running. Not look for salaries. They were surviving before these salaries. And if you say you don't have money because you spent, you'll use a shamba, whatever, that's a risk you took. And most people take these government jobs for service delivery, not because they have the money.
Yeah.
Unless you think like Trump.
Yeah.
Which is another story. But when you look at it, most people do it for service delivery. So I don't get why day one, man. Hata ujui mali unakaa. Hata hujamaliza training ile ya 1 week ya kuingia kwa bunge. Number one is salary.
Umeanza kusema mshahara.
Hey, that to me that was a shock coming from both sides of the aisle. Not even at your Kenya Kwanza Zimio. It's all of them.
All of them. Yep.
All of them. So here there's no Kenya Kwanza. They've already been grouped into one. Yeah. Secondly, I think the economy, they'll have to do something with the economy. Yeah, especially, I don't know where they're going to start from. Export, import, or agriculture, one of those. They have to do something about it. And then number 3, just the confusion. Finish the projects. Mumalize projects zilianzwa kabla muanze zingine mpya. Make sure all the projects that were there should be done before you start anything new. I think to me that is the least. And then collect the taxes, man. Tax collection. Mahasla wapatiwe kazi waanze kulipa ushuru. Yeah, so give these people the economy, alafu walipe ushuru. But otherwise, yes, as long as they improve the living standards of the hustlers, wale wanaumia, to me, I think that will be a very, 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 very big step. Yeah, so that people don't start complaining the way they're complaining right now.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. All right, Bonakip, I know you are the policy expert, so this is right up your alley.
No, I think most Kenyans, even if you do a survey at the moment, I think 2 things or even 3 will really pop up. That will be the cost of living.
Yes.
But the cost of living actually is tied to everything else per se. So if you handle healthcare, so you asked us to list top 3. So for myself as an individual, number 1 would be healthcare. As most of us are very aware, there was somebody released a survey, not a survey actually, it was a well done document where 35% of Kenyans are one sickness away from being, written off poverty. So even if you are earning 100,000 or even 200,000, how many Kenyans, by the way? The other days also I saw something released by CBK, Central Bank of Kenya. Only 1% or 10% of Kenyans have 1 million shillings in their account. So of 50 million Kenyans, only 10% have 1 million in account.
Yeah.
I think so that one speaks to the level of poverty that we have in Kenya. But healthcare, so if you fix healthcare, you fixed a lot of costs associated with healthcare. But we shouldn't fix healthcare by having people go to hospital. I think there's preventative measures to handle healthcare issues before even someone gets to hospital. I think it's time to invest in primary care. And growing up, we used to have people come and teach you the how to clean your hands, how to clean your home, how to clean everything.
Yeah.
That one, if you solved the primary care issues, you will have actually reduced hospitalization by over 50%. Reduced hospitalization over 50% will have solved a lot of issues in Kenya. The other thing would be educate people in really education. I've seen a lot of people talking about CBC. Now, I must commend this one actually. So Sean, even though he has great points, he's ahead of himself.
Yeah.
He needs to calm down and bring everyone else on board. He's so big on saying bring the experts, bring everyone on board. But if you see the way he's speaking is so authoritative, you wouldn't be able even to put one word inside there. So I think, and the government said they will be moving with speedy. What's the speed for? I think it's about time we sat down, we do the research, we bring the experts, give them time, 6 months, for them to actually give us something that can be implemented. Yes, CBC is very, very costly. I mean, we don't have swimming pools, we don't have building and construction stuff, we don't have even books themselves. CBC, can you imagine? Instead of writing on a booklet like this, you take a whole textbook and you write on there. What kind of nonsense is this? So I think whoever came up with CBC wanted to kill, this education system so that our children can go to private boarding schools and private schools because they have the resources.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of interested parties coming out and talk about this. And I think, and I hope the president actually pays attention to this, because the moment you affect our competitiveness globally, we have nowhere to go. Some of us are in these countries because our education system was good and we are very competitive. Some of us have managed to make a living and a better life in these countries and support our economy because our education was good. So it's time to relook the CBC, but it needs sober mind. Let nobody allow Soshan to bulldoze everyone. He's good, he has good intentions, but he cannot be allowed to make the dictatorship within that group that they will be assessing this. The final one, I think I had mentioned earlier, the cost of living. Now, I know people are keen on having taxes and taxation and people bringing to the kitty. Yes, absolutely. But I was looking at, if you buy 2,000 shilling tokens for electricity, you get only worth 700, almost 800 worth electricity. The rest goes to the taxes. It's broken into 4 or 5. Yes. I think we have a problem, a big, big problem in taxation. So people think taxation is the one you actually pay as you earn, or gas and stuff like that. No, taxation goes beyond even unga. Of course, I mean most people actually know that unga is taxed, or anything that we eat is taxed. But the kind of taxation that a lot of Kenyans don't know are the things to do with something that would be luxurious. But I think, who thinks electricity is luxurious stuff? It's not. No wonder it's hard to manufacture things actually in Kenya. Because if you buying things in token of 2,000, then you end up getting 800 only. 1,200 goes to the taxes. We have a huge problem. Taxes should be less than 50 shillings on a 2,000 token. Yeah, so I think we need to know actually where all those monies are going whenever it's taxed.
Yeah.
So I think for me, those would be the things that needs to be looked into.
All right, excellent points. Just before I go to Kipleting, and then I see Alfred has come back. Just one comment. Funny enough, we were talking with Keja before the show started, and I told him, I said, one person I want to ignore is Sosion, and not in a bad way. This gentleman had an opportunity as a leader to speak up when this thing was being introduced. He never said anything. And in fact, if I recall correctly, he was in support, whether by being silent or saying something in support. Now, all of a sudden, you can't turn around and say, oh, whatever is being taught is not CBC. You've been there, but you never said anything. Well, you're saying something now because you're angling for a position, or you're angling to be seen as someone who is an expert. And what other experts do you want to bring? The experts are actually the parents, the teachers who are doing this, teaching this class. Those are the experts we need to use. Those are the people who can give you the feedback. The students themselves can give you the feedback. And then we go from there. Because you can't bring an expert from somewhere else to come and tell you what you're supposed to do. Talk to the people who are affected directly, who are supposed to benefit from this, those who are in the process of actually doing it. They are the best people to give you the feedback to improve the curriculum and make it better. Not to say that the previous curriculum was good or bad. It has its own good points and bad points. But the essence of making a change in the curriculum is to make it better, not to make it worse. So I think, to me, that's my biggest pet peeve with Mr. Sion. I hope he will listen to this or he watch it and just let him know, hey, when you are coming to speak to us, please, we are not morons, so to speak. We understand this thing. Don't tell us about the expert. That's just when we say using buzzwords, telling us experts. Who are these experts? Can you be specific? Who are these experts you're talking about? Give me specifics of what you're calling expert, then we can talk about it. And I think that's how we can actually have an honest discussion and be able to improve. Like you said, the education system we had made us very competitive. You go to class. Sometimes I know for myself, all my classes in college, I had to do a term paper and I had to do a presentation. You had to stand in front of people and do a presentation. Yeah, when I do like a PowerPoint, even for a meeting, somebody comes up and say, "Hey, how did you do that?" And to me, it's so normal, it's so usual. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Or I remember one time somebody wrote a term paper. How can you write a 10-page term paper and there's no even one single reference? You don't quote anybody. I'm like, is this your original ideas? The person says no. Then how do you call this a term paper? To some of these people, that concept is not there. They don't understand that you have to acknowledge your sources when you are doing your own term paper or presenting a paper. So these are some of the things that are actually of benefit to us. But at the same time, we cannot just uproot everything. Then we're essentially going to start from zero. There are people who have already been in the system. So how do we make changes not to negatively impact everybody else? So I don't want to talk too much. So Bonakibleting, let me come to you, and then I see Alfred is back. So and then we come to you. Your top three priorities, both for national and county.
Okay, thank you. The first one that I would like to mention, of course, priority number one is economy. I will be looking forward to see a change of economy, of course, a transition in some way to ensure that we have a better economy than the one that we, of course, the government inherited and where we have been before, even in the last 10 years.
Yes.
So economy should be key and where we should start. The second one is education. We cannot, for me, I also agree. I got my kids and children in Kenya, but I agree that, well, the CBC has been brought as a transition, but well, let us relook and review it so that we can strengthen where it is strong and where it has a strong nerves, but we can also review and put it forward so that we can see what are the weaknesses and gaps that is leaving, and make sure that we intertwine it together with the 844 system to give us the best. Because at the end of the day, what are we looking for? We are looking for the best one. What we can have so that it can strengthen our education and of course produce citizens that are best tomorrow in terms of both local and the global. So I will relook and check on that. And lastly, I will like to talk to think about the diaspora office and the ministry as a like. I think even as the president is considering it, I am praying that it should be one of the things in the list to consider that the ministry get into implementation. I heard him mention before in his speech, of course, they have discussed it, but now let us move from the paperwork into implementation. Let us see the things rolling down and happening. Let us see the mass mobilization across the continents and even the registration so that we can come up together and make sure that we have a ministry, because this is one of the people that we are joining our hands together to make sure our economy also is growing. And so I am looking forward on that. And lastly, sorry for too last, I remember one thing. The issue is I'm looking forward also in the priorities of the list of the things that is happening with a strong institutions of our country. That I cannot relent. I cannot go back to say I'm not looking forward. I have seen the battles that I've gone through this week on the issue of the IBC, maybe trying to do a review of their post-election review, analysis, and of course evaluation. But by and large, I want to stand and say, let us have strong institutions. Let us build our institutions back in our country. The judiciary president, of course, Mother Koome tried to the information I think was given to the members of parliament that she will be going there to do an address, and all the other team from the other divide were trying to say we will work out if she appears to come and make an address in parliament. I think that is not the way to go. For democracy, the campaigns are over. Let us turn all our energies, all our attentions into development. And development doesn't mean one wing. It is not about something that interests me. It is something that interests everyone. So if it is something that interests everyone, let us turn completely our energies to that direction and say, as long as we want the parliament and the legislation body to be independent and very strong and also have a voice, let us respect the next institution, which is judiciary. Let us give them the respect that they deserve. Of course, give them time if they want to address us. Let us not see it as if they are over or coming to rule us, but of course, they should work independent, but of course, interdependency for the goodness of our country. Those are a few priorities that I'm looking for. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for those sentiments, and I think the word there will be working in tandem, or hand in hand, as the saying goes. But Alfred, let me come to you. So far, I've had priorities. Everybody is on the priority for the national government. Maybe I'll give you a challenge to kind of throw in some county priorities also.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman. My take on this is that, first of all, I've had brothers and some of the sisters mention that we need the economy. Economy comes, our economy in Kenya is the people, the labor that we have first. Secondly, is taxes. Apart from that, we have nothing else, to be sincere. Hatuna resources, tunachimba ati mafuta nini. It is the taxes from wananchi and the people that we have. First of all, the president and the county heads, who are the governors, should actually be leaders. Lead in a way that we make sure that the little resources that we have is well utilized. If we utilize the little resources, taxes, I'll tell you for free, where you are, Arama, where I am, if they tax me at the end of the day or at the end of the year, if they have overtaxed me, they will give me a rebate back to my account. But in Kenya, hata kama hauna hujafanya kazi, unaambiwa bwana lipa 2,000, umefail kufail nil returns. But if you have been overtaxed, no one has ever been returned any money yenye umeovertaxiwa. If I am overtaxed here, I get something back. And any money that I am taxed, I see it on the roads, I see it on the development of new buildings, I see it on the development of any other infrastructure. We have not utilized what we tax Kenyans. Most often, what we get of the taxes is what is looted. Most often, what we get as IMF funds, as grants, as Denny, is looted. Until the day we have a leader who says, even if it is ruling on an iron fist, and say, look, man, if you are caught doing shoddy jobs, if you are given a job and you are not delivering, unaingia ndani. That is when we will start now talking about development. If we will have these leaders rule in a way that I'm not saying they should be, use the iron fist, but on a way that every money is accounted for, every contract is accounted for, then that will be my happiness. And that is where we will be developing. Many often, and if you go back to history, to the first even governors, when they were in office, many of them gave contracts out, never followed up, never visited the sites. The last day, unaenda kuambiwa unlodge, unaambiwa bwana hii ndio tulijenga for 5 years toilet. Yenye imechukua 10 million. Toilet moja. 10 million. Hata ni toilet moja tu unaenda kufungua. That is where our leaders failed. If the current leaders, the governors and the president will follow up on these projects,
We'll even do impromptu meetings, impromptu site inspections. Then wasiseme tu tupo site na site hawafikangi. If they will be going to the sites and seeing and monitoring and checking what they have, the contractors and the people who have been given the mandate to deliver, then we will see a developed country. Secondly, Rama, if the governors and the president will create, networks within the international community. We have a lot of untapped, countries that we have never visited. I saw the Prime Minister of Barbados said a lot to the president at the UN, and people were laughing. Barbados is a country whereby a few people are there. It is a country where, it can look a lot of potential for people from Kenya. If you go there, you have the right to go to the US, If you go there, you have the right to go to other countries. If they create links to these people when they meet, not only take photos, but tell them, look, I have people who can come and do cruise, manana ships around your area. How many people are you giving me per year? We also export labor. Labor is one thing that Kenya has that doesn't realize. In a country like Australia, labor is very expensive. But when you go to Kenya, what I earn here in 2 hours, someone earns that in Kenya for the entire month. What I've earned since morning, working during an holiday like this today, someone's, it's someone's, 2 months salary. If we create networks with these countries, whereby we will have even people go there and work for these people. Another thing is sports. We have not actually internalize the importance of sports in Kenya and make it, as I once told the governor, the outgoing governor of Uasin Gishu, that we need to create an idea that when we have people visiting Kenya, they're not only coming to do trainings, but also have a bit of the tourist part, so that we create. We monetize this thing. Apart from you coming to run in Iten and go back, we tell you, you will get a chance to meet Kipchoge, you will get a chance to go to the national parks in Masai Mara. This is the package at the end of the day that you will pay. Apart from accommodation, you will be paying all this package for a month that you'll be here, and you'll get a chance to get a tour of, of Nandi, of Uasin Gishu, of meeting the people and volunteering and all those doing this. And once these people are volunteering on ground, they see what people do. They see what people do, and at the end of the day, you never know. Someone will say, man, I'm adopting this project in your country. I'm adopting this project in your community. And that is how networks and friendship comes in. Yeah. But until we have that notion that at the end of the day, we have the capacity, then it's going to be pointless talking without putting into practice. And unfortunately, Rama, that many people are still in the election mood, in the campaign mood. It is long gone. If you voted for Ruto, if you voted for Raila, we have a president now that we all have to support and give utmost attention. And at the end of the day, if there's something that we don't like and we pick it up and mention, it is not that we are against his leadership, but also we want the best for us as Mwananchi. That is what we need to realize. But again, I wish these governors and the president will pick up something from this and also put it in, because 5 years might be so short, but again, too long if we are suffering as Kenyans.
Thank you so much, Alfred. I think that generates several ideas for me. Just to add on your comment a little bit, I'm looking forward for where the president and the governors actually are going to meet, because these are all heads of, so to speak, heads of, I can say more like head of, or they are CEOs in their own right. The president, the CEO of the country, the governors, the CEOs of the counties. So these CEOs need to meet and plan what is good for the country and what is good for your area. How can we work together to make your county better? I am looking forward to that. To me, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. So let me go back to a few people, and I see my good friend has already joined us here. So Frida, since you are back again, let me give you a chance to top 3 priorities for both national government and the county governments that you like to see.
Well, Chairman, stop putting me on the spot, Bana.
Yeah, hii knowledge umelana watu wajue, I'm trying to make you employable and as a policy expert. So This is your chance. All right. Inaonekana Frida amepoteza network kidogo. Bwana Bauni, welcome bwana. How are you? All right. Bauni inaonekana ako kazini kidogo. Bwana Sang, I hope this time I got it right. Kipletin karibu anifukuze hapa mbio. Welcome. Leo umechelewa kidogo. How are you, my friend? You're muted. Bwana Sang, you're muted. You may need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Hope you can hear me now.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, hope everyone is fine. It's another opportunity that we are here today, and as usual,
yes,
we are here to dissect, about what is happening back at home, so that we can be able to strengthen ourselves.
Yes.
Even in terms of us who are in this side of diaspora. So I think you've asked a question, Frida. I don't know, was it about the first three things?
Yeah, your top three priorities for what you would like to see the national government, that includes the Senate, National Assembly, the executive, and then we go to the counties also. What are the top three priorities you'd like to see them work? You can say both for either, works for both or separately, that's fine.
For me, from where I sit, I see the most critical and the most critical first three things that both county governments and national governments need to work on is first to do a feasibility study on the stall project or the incomplete projects that are there within the country, which has costed the taxpayer money whooping billions of shillings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from where I say this project needs thorough assessment, needs to be worked on so that we can be able to complete this project and see what was the reason why this project got stalled. So that, because you can imagine we have a lot of roads who are stalled outside there, and already contractors were committed to do this job. Even when you go to the likes of the dams, that there are a lot of dams that were initiated by the Jubilee government. All of those dams are still bending. They have not been done up to that standard. So I will look forward to national government and county government coming up with a framework that they can be able to work on these stall projects, make them to work complete this project, so that we can be able to fight a lot of things. Like most of these dams used to solve the issues. It was targeted actually to solve the issues of now what Kenya is facing in terms of drought. Another thing is that I will look forward to the national government and county government to work on is clearing the pending bills, which is whooping 500 billion shillings that has really negatively affected the entire economy. So you can imagine if the government of Kenya today can be able to inject 500 billion into economy in terms of paying people these pending bills, so you can see the ripple effect of this money.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be money in circulation. People will have higher purchasing powers,
Yeah.
And the net value of these things is the economy will grow. Another thing that I would like to see this government working on, of course, I'm seeing from both sides end of the coin, that is the county government and national government, is meant to dismantle this issue of corruption. Because remember, corruption was decentralized also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only in the national government, but also in county government. So
Yes.
This thing, it should be a collective responsibility. And, it is a good thing that we saw the other day, the president disengaged the National Police Service and the Judiciary from depending on, the office of the president and the entire government. So it's a good thing so that we can have, an homogeneous way of fighting this corruption and put it to an end. And the last thing that I would like to see this government to do, of course, both governments, is to strengthen much or to sensitize much on participation, within the counties and the national government. Because, a government needs to be, a government is a government of people, right?
Yes. Yes.
And yes, if we are government of people, the projects that needs to be done within the country should be people-centric projects, you know. So we need to have a say, or people, Kenyans should have a say on this project. What do we need as a people, you know? This is our, because in my place, maybe because we have a lot of animals, or Ibleting or anyone can be able to tell me on this. For us, we think of, you know, just having a dip. You'll go in another place like Central Kenya, maybe these guys, they say, no, we want a factory to for coffee, you know. So we have different diversification of interest within the country, and all these projects, if we can, government can be able to visualize its vision in terms of delivering people-centric project, then I think we'll have a direction to go as a country. And the last thing is fighting, man, this thing of the food insecurity, because this has been a major challenge in our country. Now, right now, 10 counties are suffering, you know, in starvation. People don't have food. And this is the collective responsibility that national government should focus on it, and we deal with this. It's been something that we've been working on since time immemorial. When I was a small baby, a boy, you know, and it's been like over 30 years now, and we are still crying, and the people are crying in Northeastern, Samburu, you know, Turkana, parts of the upper parts of Rift Valley. So we should not be crying because of this. This is something that government can step in, build dams. Let's have water. People do irrigation, and we will forget about this issue of drought. So another thing is, man, corruption. If we can list this corruption, Arama, Mr. Chairman, and we cannot even exhaust, and that's the major thing that needs to be worked on in that country. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, so for me, just to give my own contribution is one, and I will break it down to each branch of the government, starting with the National Assembly and the Senate. Please do your role of enacting laws that will strengthen, as Kipleting says, our institutions and make it fair for everybody. To our judiciary, please, so to borrow your own phrase, stop blowing hot air to us. Take your role seriously and rule on fairness and effectiveness so that you leave a legacy and people can depend on the judiciary to have their grievances addressed in the legal way. To our counties, can you show our Kenyans why we need devolution, why this devolution is actually necessary for our country? Otherwise, people will say, why do we have a devolution? We might as well send everything back to national government and we can go beg. At least we know we are begging from one source. Right now, we are begging for 3 different sources. To me, those are the priorities that I would like to see. Some of the priorities I would like to see is everybody do your job and make people see why you are actually in existence. Second point or third point is we have a lot of talent in Kenya, a lot of great ideas. Can we start encouraging innovation to address our local issues? If you guys remember at the height of the pandemic, there was a gentleman from Western Kenya who designed, I would say almost like a contraption, but he actually designed a very good tool where you really don't have to touch anything. You step on a pedal, the mutungi drops down, you have a soap, you wash your hands. That is a simple solution that should have actually been implemented and even beyond what we have now. There are so many people who have great ideas, but they don't have an opportunity to actually explore their innovative ideas. I would like to see the national government and the county governments actually working together and hosting competition for innovation. You know, you can have an innovation month where people go and especially team up with even with our own higher learning institution universities. Can we have these at the centers of where people go to showcase their talent and their ideas? And if the idea is good, can we fund it? Unless people gain, let them have, you know, you can have a patent. You know, even if you're getting 1 shilling, but you are selling 1 million items, So you already have 1 million. So can we make it whereby the people who have these ideas, they actually benefit from those ideas and encourage people to start becoming more innovative? And then we can reduce the dependence of everybody saying every day Serikali's idea. And then you can reduce the issue of ghost workers in the counties. You can reduce the issue of ghost workers in the national government. We can reduce the issues of our members of parliament demanding a pay increase when they have not done anything, because their excuse is we need money to go fundraising in our constituencies. Then you will not have a need to do fundraising, because people have a chance to develop their ideas, a chance to explore their ideas and actually make them into practical. I remember the issue of the young man from Kericho who was showing how he could produce electricity, and we are still having problem with electricity. Like Kip said, 1,200 of your 2,000 shillings goes to taxes. Can you imagine this young man is supplying electricity to all his 20 neighbors at a fraction of the cost of KPLC? Why are we not grabbing these people and making them actually effective in our country? That is, to me, what I would like to see are my priorities. So I will come back to you guys again now, getting to the next phase. I think Alfred had an issue with climate change and how can we participate. So I'm actually going to throw this to us as people in the diaspora. What is our role? How can we contribute? How can we support? And how do we get this actually implemented? Kip, let me start with you.
Issues to do with climate change is something that's very challenging, not only for Kenya, but also for the world. It's one of the most well-funded area in development at the moment. Now, we cannot say Kenya or Kenyan people can afford electric vehicles. I mean, even as some of us living in this country, we want them, but they're still, very expensive. The other thing would be, I mean, I talked about, we're still using tokens in Kenya for electricity.
Yes.
So I don't think how many tokens you'll be needing to drive. And the long range vehicle at the moment is Tesla, and it's 500 kilometers. From Nairobi to Eldoret is, 350. If you factor in the traffic and all that, you might be in Nakuru and it's flat. Yeah. So we still have an issue with that. But I think the easiest way to solving issues with climate change is for everyone, every individual, you and me and everyone else. We can plant 1,000 trees. We have solved issues with rain. And when we solve issues with rain and climate change within that small area in Kenya, we'll have food security. We will reduce the need for people to move away from certain places because of dangers associated with climate change. Yeah. So that affects also security issues. So climate change affects a lot of things. We will reduce the kind of violence that we have whenever there's need for grazing areas in some arid areas in Kenya, and the farmers' conflict when it comes to those issues. So the other thing would be, recently I've seen new small, what is it called? Solar panels being produced in China. And yes, actually they are amazing. And it's like a laptop, it's small, and then and they can power the entire house the whole night by one charge. I think a lot of us actually, especially diaspora people, we failed in a way. Some of us have homes in Kenya and we still depend on Kenya Power, Guilty as charged.
I have solar. I refuse. Even my dad the other day said electricity. I said no. I have solar. That's it. If you want to do electricity, that's a problem. So yeah.
It's unacceptable. I mean, I'm still guilty of that, and I can tell you for free. Even so, the security lights in the house, you can buy those small ones that can be put in on somewhere there as you enter the house, and it's solar powered.
Yeah,
it's auto turned also. So I think that you were asking about the diaspora hand in this. I think that would be my solution. Every diasporan to install solar systems in their own homes. Yes. And then, of course, you expand to your family, especially parents, ukitaka usaidie your brother. I think that way we will have contributed. The other thing would be our innovation. We have a lot of Kenyans in diaspora who are very innovative. And if we innovate ways of reducing use of electricity in Kenya or anywhere in the world, I think our government should support that. And especially when it comes to, multiplying whatever we've created and monetize it, make it commercially viable. So that would be the diaspora contribution, support the talent and the small businesses, and the diaspora people like you and me and everyone else. Let's embrace the new technology of solar panels, and we'll have solved a little bit. And of course, the third one is plant trees. I'm sure a lot of us here haven't planted any tree for the last 10 years. You see, so
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you
didn't
so
mean to
much.
put anyone on the spotlight, but I thought, I make it light. Yeah,
that's why we are here. So I'm actually
Yeah.
interested with your idea of the small solar panel from China. If you can get me that information, because I'm actually truly championing how do we call it, renewable energy. I am very passionate about it, and I'm actually championing that in a different organization. I'm looking for those solutions. So if we get them and we can actually use them, because if it's small and can do all that, then that makes our cost of installing the solar, because one of the challenges is actually the cost of installing solar. Or if we can reduce the cost, then we can do it more and more places, and then KPLC will have to find another place to go get money. All right.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bwana Kibleting, how are you?
Okay.
All right. Your turn.
I want to say it is true that the issue that is currently facing all over the world is the issue of the environment.
Yes.
And it is good Kwamba we also take time to reflect on it as people from diaspora and to our part in the country, Kenya. One of the things that I would like to champion in the first place, I think we need to create enough strong awareness to people, because without knowledge we cannot say we have empowered enough. I think the awareness should be created, and especially to those people that we think they cannot do anything, those people from the lower down on the pyramid that are a big number. You go to our major cities and towns and you see how people are disposing their the disposals, and you are amazed, you are surprised. Go to the developed world and see how people they live in apartments, but you cannot find such mess within the street or outside the house.
Yes.
So I think awareness must be created in such a way that people understand it and they should own it. You see here, even when you want to draw something outside there, you get you get shame. You become shameful, because how do you do that? That you just pick a paper and draw outside. In Kenya, you finish taking your bread and you take it and draw outside the window, because you don't care who is going to face it tomorrow. But it is us who are going to face with the situation. So I think we should create not just awareness, but a strong awareness so that people can own it in the first place. Secondly, I would like to echo the same thing that Chumba said. I am championing also the issue of the solar energy. These are renewable energy that we cannot, clear energy has no issues, and we must always move towards that direction. In fact, if you check the amount of electricity that we can use to have a shower in Kenya, and just solar energy, having it for a shower, you will be amazed. You will have your water every now and then, having hot water and taking your shower comfortably without checking your token whether it has to start crying and bringing and producing the sound that always produces before you go to the bathroom. So I think we should change completely and especially for us, people from diaspora, we should start small by ourselves, move to our neighbors, and of course to the entire family and our neighbors, because this is how we need to start. Unless we start it, then we will just remain that we are talking about it and we ourselves cannot even champion it ourselves. So the last one I will rethink is, I think we need to tap the issue of storage reservoirs for water. If you take the rain that were poured in Kenya this round or this year during the rainy season, it was quite an amazing that sometimes we even just avoid it. One of my schools that I was studying when I was in high school in Kenya, when we were doing this and we were championing it through the college and then come back later on, we made a tank reservoir, underground tank reservoir. It stores over 10,000, over 20,000 liters of water. And the school usually have them on the underground during the rainy season. And when it is time that the schools are facing these challenges of no water in the school, the boarding session should not be taking shower frequently, they have the water that they can use for bathing and other purposes, of course, for the domestic use. And I think this could have been a start for us to just move forward before we think of boreholes and other things. Then we must tap onto these small opportunities that we are seeing so that we can move forward and try to be the champions of the environment, that are people who are environmentalists and they can take care of the environment. Lastly, we should always plant trees. And I could say I am one of the people, I have not planted the trees for the last 2 years. And I regret, because when I was around, I used to do it. And for the last 2 years, I've been destroying the forest that I had, because every now and then I just call them and say, I think those trees are so big, we need to build this, I need to do this. And when they ask me, I say, the option is I had the trees, and I realized the forest 1 month ago is almost I need to reforest again. So I think we should move forward and of course on this so that we can do a good one. Thank you so much.
All right, Bwana Kipuleni, thank you so much, and thank you for facing up. And Alfred, okay, your turn.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Allow me come in and then I'll go. Nataka kupunguza nywele kidogo, kusupport bottom up hapa kidogo.
Okay.
Vijana wetu wa nyumbani.
Okay.
First of all, I would want also to echo what you mentioned earlier in regards to innovation. Actually, that was my point. I was working in our streets this morning, Perth, Western Australia, the capital of Western Australia. And I came to realize that there is a statue of the only remaining white rhino, Sudan, that was in Kenya, that was erected here in Western Australia. And the materials that were used are just scrap metals. But the statue is of absolute beauty. It is great. It came to my mind like, is this even in our country? Was it even recognized that we had an element of history in our country?
Nope.
You know, these people are appreciating what they didn't have. And yet back home, we have nothing. Secondly is that if we empower, if actually the issue on this government is bottom up, if we empower those people, the artisans, the artists, the local people who have talent, to have a show in every county. And when I say in every county, these counties can have a weekend, like in Uasin Gishu, of, you know, for example, they can say every year on a weekend, you know, Friday to Sunday, they can have a day of expo. Like if you are a business person, if you are an artist, if you are, you know, if you are an athlete, you come and tell us what you do in your villages. And these things can go, you know, down to village to village every year. They can move it to different sub-counties. One, it will give an opportunity to the governors to visit these sub-counties. And secondly, also they will give an opportunity to the hustlers per ground, who are artists, who are champions of environment, who are champions of everything that they are capable of doing, to showcase what they have. And at the end of the day, reward these people. If they're coming in as a group, if they're coming in as individuals, and at the end of the day, these people will get a living. These people would actually have an opportunity to run another 1 year project before the next expo comes in. And many people would come in to support. We've shared stories of people here online, and people come in to chip in and support. That is what we want to see. If we champions our fellow hustlers to come out and share what they can, a lot of people would get an opportunity to rise from where they are. Secondly, Arama, is that unfortunately we might be limited with resources. We might be limited at some point in time. We have to agree on that. We are not like other countries whom they have everything. But again, if we use the little resources that we have, we can go very far. We can go very far, so long as we are using it to the maximum. We are using it with intent of creating good. As I finish, is that we need to create awareness, as Kipleting said. Awareness is one thing that is very important. Personally, I have planted not less than 20,000 trees every year. Even this year, I planted with my absence. You give people money, they do it for you. Sometimes I sponsor just a project of someone I see online who is doing things to do with the environment. And I will tell you, there's a guy called Jeff Kosgei. There is a lady called there's a lady who was running for a position in Kajiado. I call Anita Sonia. Sometimes they tell us a lot about this environment, and I feel touched, and I send them a message. I send them something to support their projects. And I hope this country, and all these small counties will appreciate people like these ones, because without such people, we will not be able to achieve this thing on environment and global warming. If we don't, give opportunity to people who knows this thing better. If you send me now to do something, a project in an area where I don't, feel comfortable in, I will not deliver. So I hope these counties with the national government will join in together to support such people. In every village, there is a champion of environment, to give them an opportunity, fund them, and allow them to practice to the maximum what they like. And I will tell you, Arama, here in these other countries, and also where you have your governors, who are rulers of the states, they run nearly the same projects on what the national government does. One thing they do is they send in a budget saying we want to do this, and then the national government will fund those projects through the allocations that comes in from the national government. How do we do our allocations in Kenya? Are we just being given billions of money and then we just choose it as governors? Or we are putting in a project like saying in Nandi, we want to put this type of project in Nandi, and this is the amount, so that the national government will allocate Nandi according to what they want to put it for that period of 5 years, or period of 2 years, or period of financial year. That is where we are failing, I guess. If we put in projects that we want and push the national government through the MPs that we have, through the senators that we have, and of course through the friendship and the intellect that we have in our counties, then we will be creating good amount of money that will come. But if tunatumiwa tu 5 billion alafu sisi wenyewe tucheze penye tunataka kucheza, it will be pointless. So unless we have a way of having money that comes towards the county whereby we are filing against what we want to put in. Unajua kwa kwetu tumejenga project ngapi hajaisha? Hata nyumba ya gavana hatuna, by the way, hatujai kuwa na ofisi na sioni ikijengwa hii mwaka. 15 years later, hakuna ofisi ya gavana na pesa ilitumwa. Gavana, amuka hii mwaka bwana na ujenge nyumba. Asante Rama.
Thank you so much, Bwana Alfred. Thank you so much for your contribution. I appreciate that. So let me go down to Bwana Sang. Did I give you a chance yet? Unajua watu wame move around a little bit. I had a certain order, so.
No. I think I had spoke a few minutes ago.
Okay.
but it's okay since you've given me another chance. I can still contribute.
Okay.
So yeah, I've not dealt about this issue of diaspora and about this ecosystem that we are living in. As we see, transforming the ecosystem around the world, it has been threatened by, a world living inhabited by 8 billion people. And then entire species in this world is under threat because of this issue. And that is why we are championing because of this issue called climate change. And for me, you've asked how best we can be able to work on this is first we need to work to protect our forests, and add more trees. I can echo what I think Bwambok said. And the best way we can be able, and especially us as a country, Kenya as a country in the third world, we can be able to marshal our forces and our efforts so that we can plant more trees, maintain the existing forest, so that we can be able to have our large landmass covered very well by forest, and then we can be able to tap rains from that. Another thing is I hope we can focus much on championing of the conversion of volcanic waste into biofuels,
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, because if we can be able to work that, like, even back at your home, Arama, you have a lot of waste. And this waste, instead of us thinking of, how we can be able to get, I don't know, fuel from, we can cook using this one, firewood. We can be able to tap in, even our cows there, it's a good source of fuel. So we can be able, actually, those are things that we need to champion.
Yes.
So that we can protect our forest. In fact, when we use such biofuel, we can be able to protect our forest, because no one will be able to go into forest and fetch firewood. Another thing is, I hope the country can focus much more on wind energy, solar energy, and geothermal energy. I think we have a good source of geothermal energy in Olkaria, and there was a feasibility study. It's only that people are sluggish in terms of working on developing and implementing those projects. And if we can be able to work on that, we can actually, as a country, we can shift from depending on hydro power electricity to geothermal power electricity, which is a clean source of energy.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think those are things. And then into that, I think if we can be able to add more megawatts from that geothermal energy, then we can be able to import this, electric fuel into our country. So right now, what we are facing is high cost of electricity back at home, because we depend much on hydropower electricity. But if we can be able to diversify this kind of source of power from different places, then our energy, our source of energy can drop down by a certain percentage, and we can be able to afford. So if a Tesla has manufactured a car that can be able to go around 500 kilometers, so it means for you to leave Nairobi to Bungoma, you can be able to charge your car and drive safely up to Bungoma, so that you can be able to charge back there and then come back. So those are the things that we need to champion in. But for now, we can be able to start first from forest, because that is the easiest thing we can be able to do: manage our forest and add more by planting trees. By basically, I've been out anyway, but I'm hoping when I'll go back home in December, I'm going to plant at least 10 trees, because actually I've been out for quite long. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution. Wanakeja, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm all right. All right. So what's our role, diaspora?
Our role, diaspora. Energy is a very interesting topic. I don't want to get into it because I'm in that industry, so I might say something that you people don't really like.
Okay. Okay.
But it it is a biasness. It's a biasness. Some people say solar, some people say hydro, some people say geothermal. To which they are When it comes to the environmental studies, I think what you should do is concentrate more on innovation. Yeah, like everybody has said, innovation, I think is going to be important to expose these young kids who are coming up with great ideas to the right people. So us as diasporans, instead of watching that 2-minute clip and saying, wow, look at this, and then you forward it to all your friends, you should forward it to your more important friends.
Yeah.
People who can do something with it.
Yes.
So with that said, the best idea is going to be the county thing, yes. And I can boldly tell you I'm working on something to do with that. Okay. Very soon, sooner or later, yes. Once everything is settled, so that I can be able to talk about it. Okay. Yeah, a few governors are coming on board. Good. You know, so that we can start exposing, especially college students, maybe high school students, to go and attack their problems of their counties and come up with solutions. So innovation is not necessarily looking for oil of electricity. It's just something that can make lives people easier.
Yes.
Yeah, easier without a lot of effort. And yes, I'm working on it, and inakuja vizuri.
Okay.
So you'll be seeing us very, very soon, going around, because the government will not do it.
We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do it ourselves.
Hii maneno ya serikali come help us here, serikali come help us hapa. Oh, I wish the government would know.
Yeah.
No, that is the only way. I've realized the only way as diasporans can really help is come up and do something and make money where this government is failing. That's where the money is. They will never do it to the end. So yeah. Right. Until it works is when unakuja unachapo unaambiwa basi wewe.
Let us share. All right.
Yeah. Awesome. So my next goal starting next year, I'm gonna be championing for innovation a lot and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And exposing these people to some of these companies out here. There are so many big competitions that go on in the US. And once those two come together, then people will start thinking differently. People will see it's reachable, it's achievable. The moment you show people it's achievable, then they'll have hope and work towards it. Right. So that is what I have now.
Thank you so much. Bwana Kipleting, I think I gave you a chance to speak on diaspora issues, if I'm not wrong. And if I haven't, leo nimekulemea kidogo. But if I didn't, I apologize. So I can give you a chance. Otherwise, I do have a new guy here. I want to give him a chance to give his thoughts, and then I'll give you each one a final chance, final remarks, so that we can wind down the show. Bwana, is that, do I say it right? Tay? Ryan? Oh, is that, Dr. Yes. Ryan? Okay, yes.
Yes, hey, very right.
Yes.
Fine.
All right, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Today I just came in, I just came in 5 minutes ago just to listen in because a friend of mine shared and I was very much interested. But then I would think that from next, is it still Thursday?
Yes, Thursday mornings, yes. Kenyan time.
From next Thursday. What time, Kenyan time?
7:30 Kenyan time.
7:30, so that's 8:30 in Dubai and whichever, Australia, whichever. Okay, so yes, I'll be joining in next week. Very interesting topic today, but I didn't prepare, I didn't have much to say about it. Because I've just found who was it? I just found Keja talking about it. But from next week, if I have the topic early in advance or something, then we can contribute, because there are so many issues, a myriad of issues, especially us in the diaspora, that we can talk about and that we can share about, and being like impact on our communities back, immediate communities back at home.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in, and I'm not going to miss. Even if I'm at work, I'm not going to miss. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I'll be there, at least tuned in, and give out my opinions.
Yes.
For the members, my name is Dr. Ryan. I'm a practicing general practitioner in United Arab Emirates, Abu Dhabi, the capital city. So
wow.
I think next week I'll be seeing San and Kipleting, Kipchumba, and all of you, and even some other guy left. Kimeli left, right? I just came in and I saw him leave. So Nanatoka Kitui. So,
oh wow. Okay.
You guys, when you talk about forests, and we don't have forests in Kitui, but we have hydropower. All the big rivers and everything, they're passing through there. So, and over and over, we are the people who are disadvantaged in not having. Now we have, but before we didn't have electricity. We're also facing challenges of water itself, despite it passing through there and going to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
So I think there are many issues that we can talk about. And now we have elected, in my region, we have elected governors who know, like in Kitui, we just got back the doctor who was there in 2013. In Makueni, we have a very young guy, Motula Kilonzo. And in Machakos, we are having someone who can be, who is malleable, who can be told to do something and she will do, because, she's an accommodative lady. So as we talk about these regions and the distribution of the resources that we can talk about, then I think I'll be able to have very much to input to the discussion. So sahi nipatieni tu ile, sahi mimi sina uniform.
Aya, sawa. Welcome to the tackle. Most of the time here we start on general, what you have observed throughout the week, and then we can talk specifics, and then always we try to rope in an issue about diaspora. There's a time we talked about the issue in Middle East about the domestic workers violence. These are things that actually concern us. We've talked about how can we get the government to fulfill his promise of creating the diaspora office. And for us, we say we don't just need a diaspora office, we say we need a diaspora council. So these are some of the things that we talk about, and try to find a way to reach the government of the day and and of course, hold our representatives accountable, whether in the county level, in the national government, national assembly, wherever they are. We need to show people that, hey, voting, holding our leaders accountable does not end when you vote. Actually, that's the beginning. You need to hold them accountable and make sure that they actually deliver what they promise. If they don't, then you kick, so that people learn the lesson that, hey, you are here to work for the people, not just for your own stomach. So
not just to joyride. Yes, that's true.
Yes, exactly. So thank you so much, Daktari, and congratulations. These are the stories people want to hear, that we actually do make a difference out here in the world and in various areas, so that people don't assume, hey, watu wanaenda tu kuosha vyombo kwa nyumba, so we have a doctor in the Middle East, so that means a lot to us. And I'm not trying to demean what the domestic workers do, but just the general idea that people have to understand that. And we said here in this show that we Kenyans actually excel out here in the world, and people, there are so many examples of people who are actually doing wonderful things. I believe it's the Middle East where one Kenyan is actually designing to resolve a transportation system. And I believe,
George is not even designing; he's already finished the project in Saudi.
Wow!
And he's such a guy, Even Dubai, they wanted to get him to come and do Etihad rail that is coming from Abu Dhabi and crossing to the other Emirates, to Dubai and the others. So we have people. I mean, like I know people who are making difference here, and even over and above. In the US, in Australia, and in the UK. So especially in my field, I know people who are breaking the ceilings. But you know what the previous governments have done in terms of support to the diaspora population.
Yes.
It's not anything like substantive, such that people would be proud to say, you know, this is what I do. But if you look at the remittance of the monies and everything, then you'll know like there are people out there who are doing something. So yes. I just think now that we have a new administration that looks pro ideas, and I think we can people can move forward now.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daktari. And gentlemen, so I'm just going to go around real quick for a minute. Give us your final thoughts, guys, and then we can end the show today. But Mbauni, I see you have come back again. Let me actually start with you, if you're able to speak. All right. Mbauni, there are listening mode. So, okay. Kip, you want to go?
Yes. I didn't realize my Nini was on. Sorry if I made some noise.
No, you didn't. No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think so. Well, it's been a good day. Good discussions. Thank you, everyone. I think my closing remark would be, of course, as many Kenyans, we are used to waiting for something good. Yeah, you know, I think that's life anyway. Yes. So we did finish the presidential campaigns, and then elections, and then the results, and then the court. Guess what? Everyone is waiting. We're waiting for the cabinet.
Yes.
That's the funny part.
Yes.
Now, I've had a lot of people talking about, you know, what kind of cabinet the president will have. I used to believe in technocrats. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, we saw what happened. Mm-hmm. People come in, wanamea pembe, as if they own the government, as if, you know, the president is the ultimate thing. They fail to understand that they are working for the people. So if you are a technocrat coming from outside, sometimes you lose touch with the reality. And the reality is the president is the leader of the people, and the people are everyone, including those mama or mashambani, awana everything. Let technocrats stay in school. Even myself, I'll stay in school. But let politicians do the work of doing politics and, you know, transforming the ideas that they have into real actions. Technocrats can say as PSS and CSS. Those are their jobs, and they're good at it because those are the brains behind this. Managing politics as a cabinet minister is something very important.
Yeah.
And politics goes hand in hand with policy direction. And you cannot bring someone who never advocated for bottom-up and then hope and pray that they advocate for bottom-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm of the idea that we need actually to agree that we don't need technocrats all the time. We need those technocrats, yes. They will do the backdoor deals and the work, the hard work, but communication, direction, and, you know, kind of doing politics, let's leave it to. So I support the president to appoint anyone and everyone he deems fit to be a cabinet minister, even if Kipchumba Murkomen or Duale or, you know, Kindigis or everyone, because those are the people actually who went to the battle. They have scars to prove that they actually went through the battle that was, and that battle was not easy. So you cannot come and lock these people out. What were they out there for? Yes. So I think it's about time we stop these of ambitious thing like, oh, we want to be even developed world. I mean, cabinet of any cabinet in Australia sits in parliament. Mm-hmm. They are politicians because they were elected and they are doing their work effectively. I think our constitution, we were too ambitious until we forgot the basic things. Mm-hmm. How in the world do you explain we don't have leader of opposition party in parliament? How do you explain that?
Yeah.
So really, I think it's about time we tone down this over ambitiousness and trying to copy everything. Even the places we try to copy from, actually we copy it wrong. Mm-hmm. So I hope the president nominates Akina Kindiki, anyone who campaigned and advocated for bottom-up, because that's what we elected them to do, to deliver on bottom-ups. And hopefully they deliver, and when they deliver, everyone succeeds, you and me and everyone else. Yes. Especially diaspora goes, we actually work hard for this country, man. Yes. So yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, Kip, for your comments. Bwana Kiplating, I'll come to you for your final thoughts.
Of course, I must say that I'm grateful for this day. It has been a good day of discussion, sharing together, and of course, putting our ideas so that we can see the Kenya that we want, the Kenya that we want to live, and tomorrow we want to own it, all of us. There's a few things to put across as my parting shot today. Still, we need to advocate for good environment. We want to champion that, and of course, to remain in that concept. Let us carry on with it. Let us do awareness, both in our homes and of course wherever we are, especially for us diasporas, where we live. We engage in countries that are so much concerned with such kind of things, and you imagine home and you become so embarrassed when even you want to take someone home. So I think we should be grateful that is happening. By and large, politically, let us wait for, of course, for CIS, for cabinets as they come in. However, I think they should not broaden the base of the ministry so much so that it can also tax the Kenyans. And that will be my parting shot, to be concerned that we bring in CIS, CS, PS, and all other stuff, and it looks like we have a ministry that is congested. We are not seeing any work being delivered because of a lot of people want to cook on the pot, and so the food will not be nice. I think they turn down and so operate in a good way. Thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Everyone, a blessing.
Thank you, Bwana Kibleting. All right, Bwana Sang.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bwana Sang, Dr. We're just going round to give final thoughts. Bwana Sang, then we'll come to
Okay, thank you much. Thank you so much for this again opportunity. And my parting shot is I will talk much about this issue of CBC in our education system in Kenya. And based on this issue, it's been actually a bit challenging for government to implement CBC. And going by fact that, education system is one of the key pillars in, economic growth and, us as a country achieving the Vision 2030. There is a lot of there are a lot of challenges in this CBC program, which even teachers themselves, even the ministry people doesn't understand what is going on with this big humongous issue called CBC. And it's been one thing that I think the president talked about when he was in during his inaugural speech at Kasarani. And that I will look forward to when he's back into the country, he can be able to form this that commission as soon as possible, so that we can relook into this kind of this system, because people are confused. They don't know whether they are in school or I don't know whether they're in 844 system or they are doing what. Even it's a complicated program that has made a lot of people even don't understand. Even parents, us as parents, back at home, we don't understand what is this thing called CBC. And it's one of the costly kind of an education system, but does not meet the end result of what CBC ought to be, because instead of being a competency-based kind of a curriculum system, it has become an end result system that this is the end result of this kind of an education. And I foresee this because of one, I think our schools or our schools actually lack curriculum structure, a clear curriculum structure that needs to be looked into. And then, as a country, we still lag behind in terms of, information and communication technology system, which majority of our teachers even doesn't understand about computer, just to operate a computer system. And this is a CBC-based system, It needs a teacher who can be able to teach students what is a computer, And another thing is, imagine the structures we have in place. We lack a total structure that can be able even to handle students. Right now, schools are challenged where people are graduating to, I think, grade what? From now to grade 7 to junior secondary education system, and we lack the schools lack structures to house these people. So I'm looking forward to, as the president names his cabinet, I hope that he will be able to choose someone who really understands what the education system is, someone that has grown from that level of basic education to upper level of education, so that he can be able to bring the nexus between the entire chain of education system within the country, so that we can have a workable system. And then another thing is, a president to constitute his cabinet, I would feel like it is good for him to constitute a cabinet with politicians, because politicians have in contact or connection with the ground, with people back at mashinani. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Politicians, who is, of course, politicians themselves are also the technocrats, so that they can be able to deliver the plan, the agenda of Dr. William Ruto within the next 5 years. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity. Okay. And I'm looking forward to meeting you guys again. We have such a discussion next week. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Bonambauni, are you able to say any words today, or Leo uko listening mode? All right. All right. Daktari, you want to say final words? Then I will finish up with Keja, and then we wrap up the show.
Yeah, I think Bauni is busy somewhere, in the Middle East now.
Yes.
We are almost going to noon, so I think he's caught up somewhere. He's my friend, very close friend. Yeah. Okay. What I wanted to say, just like I said before, is that we are going to come up with with points to support these discussions in the near future.
Yes.
And again, for us in the Gulf, we have special issues, like you talked about the things that people go through here. Actually, it's a reality. It's not it's not a mirage. It's something that is happening. So it's something that is worth a discussion. And actually, me and 3 of my friends who are already coming up with something to see how we can help in such situation, and who are trying to incorporate the government of the day and and other stakeholders, and we that's an issue that is very close to me, because these people might not be close to me in terms of career or anything else, but they are very close to me in terms of them being human. And not in Dubai, because Dubai is not so rampant. But if you look at Saudi Arabia, you look at Lebanon, you look at Bahrain, it's crazy. It's not so good. And then my friend here talked about the issue of the CBC. I think it's also worth our input, because we are also, like for me, I have 2 girls now in school, and of course they are going through the same system, because I don't really like taking kids to study abroad. I still think that the Kenyan system that I went through is the best if they want to become doctors, engineers, and everything that they want to become. But this issue needs to be tackled it's very delicate. So very carefully it needs to be tackled. Not by politicians, it needs to be tackled by someone who has graduated from the previous system into a system similar to this, like someone who can be able to tell the difference, not just someone who is coming, they are just full of the old, or someone coming again full of the new. So we need to also give our input on that and the other issues that come by. So let's meet next week, and let's see what we can talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. We're looking forward to see you again next week. Bwana Keja, Hebu tufungie show bwana. Give us your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Me, I'm still on these MPs and their salaries.
Okay.
Because that is the first sign. That's the first sign. That is the first sign. If they're already looking for salaries, man, it's like you get hired. Hata ujionyeshwa mali ofisi iko umeshauliza raise.
Yeah.
and you knew how much it was. Vile ulikuwa na apply for the job. Yeah, so yeah, if they don't change their attitude, all these things we are talking about, tutakuwa tunazisikia ndio sasa tu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so instead of Raila doing the 1 million march to go for the judges, I think he has a reason to do 1 million march for the MPs. Yeah, and as people right now, we have to. If you don't keep them in check right now, if you let them go get away with it, watatuzoea vibaya. Watatuzoea vibaya. Yes, if you don't keep them in check right now, they will just get used to us. Nasema ni kawaida yao tu. Sikwe kawaida. And Dr. Ruto, please, His Excellency, don't sign that bill. Don't sign it until you see improvement in these MPs, until you see what work they've done, which should be 3-4 years down the road, so that by the time they get to elections, you know which ones are going and which ones are not. The moment they're given this salary raise, watatusumbua kabisa.
All right.
Yeah, so this salary thing, it should be a no-no to every Kenyan, every hustler.
Yeah.
That money is coming out of our pockets, not theirs. We are the bosses.
Yeah.
And we have to keep them accountable. Yes. So, President William Ruto, kama unanisikiza, tell those people to go to work. Waende wafanye kazi kwanza ndio kuja waulize mshahara baada ya kufanya kazi. Not before work is over.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate this has been very engaged conversation and discussion. I hope we were able to disseminate information that is beneficial to our supporters online, especially for the Taco Show. Thank you, Bwana Gerald, for this opportunity. As usual, my guys on the studio, thank you so much for your patience with us and always making sure that we are always on time and everything working smoothly. I appreciate you. Bwana Kipa amesema next time anakuja Kenya ataona kando kidogo, so I will leave it at that. Yeah, but really, in all seriousness, guys, this is always great for us to come together. We have an interest for our country and a love for our country, and we have gained some knowledge that we should get a chance to implement and expose our people to, and make our country better. We have that potential. The country has that potential. We just need that chance. Thank you so much for here today. I hope to see you guys next week. For now, let's go ahead and say bye-bye to everyone. Have a nice day. For those in Kenya, some of us have a good night. Others have a good afternoon. Let's see you next week. And hope to see you again tomorrow for Sharia Wiki and the Taco Show for Diaspora ends now. Thank you.